There are plenty of creators that have been calling out and have been talking about since the death of Charlie Kirk, but there is one that I haven't addressed yet, and I think it's time for us to do that. So, Secular Talk. Secular Talk, he has 500,000 followers on X, but also has a successful YouTube channel, mostly for political commentary, and it's this one here. Secular Talk, 2 million subscribers, 22,000 videos. Holy moly. Right, so this is clearly going to be a video where I'm going to attack his arguments and in general his morality. Credit where credit is due, 22,000 videos is a grind. He describes as home of news and politics commentary from the populist left perspective. Now, I've watched this guy a few times over the years as I was trying to avoid echo chambers. As I said, this is something that I've tried to do for years. I am absolutely right-leaning, but then again, I've always tried to avoid echo chambers and trying to watch other channels in order to see how people counter certain arguments, because if you only hear one side, you might end up believing positions that instead are logically inconsistent or incoherent. So I always suggest people to try and find commentators from the center, from the left, and from the right. With that being said, the exercise hasn't been easy, because every time that I try to listen to a left-winger, it ends up being someone who likes lollies and horses. Vosh dropped him. Someone who laughs at the death of a firefighter and then celebrates the death of Charlie Kirk and calls for political violence against conservatives. Destiny stopped watching him. Or he's someone who shocks dogs and calls for the red capitalist blood on the street. Hassan Piker. And when it comes to horses, do you want to talk about Cheng? So anyways, Secular Talk has also been someone who I tried watching a couple of times. I found the commentary of those few videos that I clicked to be hypocritical. That's at least my position, and so I stopped watching. Anyways, I guess I didn't know how bad the situation was, particularly when it comes to his attack on Charlie Kirk's wife, widow. He loves it. He loves making fun of the widow. Absolutely. Because that's what the tolerant love is love side does, right? That screams love is love, tolerance, inclusivity. Yeah, that's the hypocrisy I was mentioning. So anyways, let's have a look at this post that I shared and responded to. On a side note, I'm sure this guy loves this. He absolutely thinks this is totally hilarious. 100% guaranteed. Alright, so one of the things he posted this. Spirit, fake, grieving, widow, grifter costume. Grifter, of course. Man, I swear, grifter has become the greatest red flag on the planet. I mean, I've been called a grifter for so long that now I literally owned it. Like, I begin my days on Twitter posting, your favorite far-right grifter is at it again, let's go. And that's what I do. But in general, when people use grifter, it's just so fucking unbecoming. It's like it's a loser move. If your attack onto someone, rather than addressing their point, position, and argument, is to call them a grifter, you've already lost. It demonstrates you do not have the ability to face their argument. And in fact, it's a way to undermine said argument. So whenever I see someone using a grift, you've already lost 1,000 points with me. Anyways, fake teardrops, skin-tight black leather morning pants, adult-size costume, blah, blah, blah. And there she is with all the money, pretending. Unbelievable. This is in absolute poor taste. Poor taste. It's indecent. It's disgusting. And I don't even know why the left tolerates people like this. And I'm talking not the radicals, because of course, once you're radicalized, all you see is not even a human being. You see, oh, it's a fascist. That's what you see. It's a Nazi. And so automatically, whatever is done, all forms of not only ad hominem, ad personam attacks are justified, but violence is justified in your eyes because of the dehumanization language that has been used and pushed, which is what led, by the way, to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, all of which is unconstitutional, undemocratic, and inexcusable within any given civil society. But yeah, so I responded and I said, awful shame on you. The quartering said, we will remember this. Absolutely we will. This is a bad look, says Chrissy Mayer, but it's not like he cares. What's wrong with you, from Andrew Colvert? He's absolutely right. You don't deserve friends, says Phil Labonte. And yeah, this is gross. Garbage human. At this point, I agree, because this is in response. So you might tell me, oh, but you just said that attack ad personam are wrong. Right, but the guy has dropped any level of decency. So now, yeah, we can respond in kind. Absolutely, we can respond in kind. And of course, he provided a response to the haters, because he's the most hateful one here. Yet the haters and losers coming after me for my perfect Erica Kirk meme, he says. Let's see that response. Let's have a look. Is he going to own it? Is he going to be decent?
Let's have this conversation. People are asking questions. I'm asking questions, but a lot of people are asking questions. And what are they asking? They're saying, why is she running her hands through J.D. Vance's hair? Why is she doing that? That is a very, very intimate thing to do, and I'm not sure I've ever seen that happen with people who are not dating, who are not together.
Man, what is this guy gonna do if he comes to Italy or back home in Sicily, where men and women kiss each other on the cheeks multiple times just as friends? We hug all the time. What? Not everything has to be sexual, for crying out loud.
Why does he have his hands on her hips?
Hands on hips? What are you on about? Like, what? Now you're becoming the party of Puritans? Unbelievable.
That's another thing I haven't seen unless you're fucking dating. Why is she wearing leather clubbing sexy pants at what's supposed to be just a run-of-the-mill event, and here she is around J.D. Vance?
Isn't that about empowering women and their freedom? What if that's the way she wants to express themselves? These guys don't even have... But then again, this is the same party that is pro-feminism, pro-LGBT, pro-trans, against religion, and then they white knight for Islam. I mean, what are we even expecting here?
Why did she say publicly that J.D. reminds her of Charlie?
What's wrong with that statement, you idiot? Nothing burger. Maybe it's because she respects J.D. Vance. How about that? It's a beautiful thing to say, in fact, because her husband, who is the father of her children and the man she had chosen to spend her entire life with, something that was forcefully and unjustly taken from her, you scum. And she said she respected Charlie as her husband, telling J.D. Vance that he reminds her of Charlie, the most important person in her life, is called a compliment. It's called a show of respect. But I imagine in your worldview, the idea that a wife can respect her husband is weird because, I mean, oppressor oppressed, am I right?
Why did JD say publicly that JD reminds her of Charlie? Why did JD say publicly that he wants his wife to convert to Christianity? Throwing his fucking wife under the bus.
Oh, he's one of those imbeciles. Man, this guy is a clown. You're a clown. I hope you watch this. I hope you make a response. We should absolutely go to an online war because you're a clown. I am going to address that on a separate video. I don't know if by the time I edit this, if that video addressing this idea of shameful, J.D. Vance wants to force Christianity onto his wife. He thinks she was going to burn in hell. Yeah, I've already filmed that one, so it will be on this channel soon. If I have already posted it, by the time I post this one, I'll put it in a link in the description. And if I haven't, then just wait a couple of days and I'll add it once the video is public. But that's a stupid line of attack because it's absolutely normal for a Christian man, in fact, for a man of any religion, to wish for his wife and children to become Christian, or freaking hell, to become Muslim if you're a Muslim. Or if you are an atheist, won't you love? Wouldn't you be happy if your significant one at one point says, you know what, I agree with you. I think religion is all nonsense and you convinced me because of your reason and logic. What? Obviously, a Christian man wishes for his wife to become a Christian, because, you know, we Christians believe in our religion. I know this may be a shocker to the likes of you, but we believe in our religion. Therefore, we think that Christianity is the only path back to Jesus and to God. Hence, we wish for the people we love to make that decision one day. But he's not forcing it, and there is nothing wrong with it. And you're a hypocrite and a liar if you think that there is anything weird about this. It would be like being weirded out by the fact that a Christian believes in the resurrection. Of course we do. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. He did not throw her under the bus. He shared something that, by the way, he didn't need to. He didn't need to share. It's none of our business what happens within that family, inside the privacy of their home. Husband and wife, none of our business. But he still decided to share this desire that he has, and she's fine with it. Her family's fine with it. What does it matter to you? Throwing under the bus.
Throwing his wife directly under the bus. Why was her head also on Jesse Waters' chest? That's another thing that happened, which was very apparent and very clear.
It's called comforting a grieving widow. Seems like this guy doesn't understand the concept of empathy, solidarity, compassion.
And everybody had to pretend like it wasn't bizarre as we were all witnessing it. Why did she rush in to fundraise off of Charlie Kirk's murder? That seems wildly inappropriate to me.
So having a fundraiser is inappropriate, but making fun of Charlie Kirk's death is not. This is the worldview of the likes of this. Inappropriate. You shouldn't even have access to this word. You have lost the privilege of utilizing the word inappropriate the moment you started mocking what happened to Charlie and his wife. So you can use it, but no one is ever going to take you seriously because what you do is inappropriate. 50 times more. What's more, if I have this question for you. If you do watch this video and respond, Secular Talk, Kyle, I have this question for you. What's more appropriate? Please don't dodge the question. Have the decency. Be a man and respond and answer this. What's more inappropriate? Raising a fundraiser after your husband dies, or making videos to laugh, celebrate, endorse the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Which among these two is more appropriate? Don't dodge it. Don't deflect it. Don't tell me, yeah, but, and hit a whataboutism. Which of these two? So at least be transparent. Either be honest and say, all the people that laughed at Charlie Kirk's murder and that made jokes and that endorsed it and then called for the death of his children. This is your side, man. This is your side. Is it more appropriate to ask for the death of his children because they're bigots? Or is it more inappropriate what she did? Which one is it? And if your answer is that what she's doing is more inappropriate, then at least we see your true colors. Own it at this point. And instead, if you agree with me and you say that calling for violence on his children and endorsing political assassination of your opponents, intellectual opponents, if you think that that is more inappropriate, then why are you not calling out what is more inappropriate? And instead you're focusing on a grieving wife. It's checkmate. Whichever you choose is checkmate.
Wildly inappropriate in that moment. Why did she post creepy videos on social media of her holding her dead husband's hand with him laying in the casket, getting fucking social media clout off of his demise?
The showing of the corpse, I have to agree with. I hate that begrudgingly. I have to agree with him. I thought that was much. Personally, I wouldn't have done it simply because I would have kept it private. So I have to agree with him on that one.
Are you kidding me? If I was fucking murdered, do you think Crystal would take a picture holding my dead hand as I'm in the carcass?
You wouldn't be in the carcass. You would be the carcass in the coffin.
And fucking trying to make a social media clout moment off of it? Are you kidding me? That's fucking grotesque. And we're not going to pretend like it's not.
I hate the way he speaks. I hate everything about this guy, but I agree with him on this one. Grotesque.
It absolutely positively is. Why were there fucking pyrotechnics at his funeral before she spoke like it was some sort of WWE event?
Oh my gosh, he's literally, though, now you're losing the plot. Who cares about the pyrotechnics? Who cares? Man, he's really, you know what this demonstrates is that he doesn't have a strong counter argument, and so now he needs to try and get every single little bit. Why did he put on a blue tie if the guy was a Republican? Why did he put on jeans instead of a suit? Like he's literally gonna find. I mean, if you talk about the fireworks, then he's literally gonna go into every single possible detail to all of this, by the way, to justify this, which doesn't work. You are responding. What you're doing here is shifting the goalpost. You're responding to this. Nothing you said up to this point clarifies or justifies this. You could, even the one thing that I agreed with you, the body and the holding of the hand, even that doesn't justify mocking and laughing and what you're doing. It doesn't, because the children are still suffering. At that point, I would say make a video, call out the thing and say, hey, this is grotesque, this is nonsense. But the laughing and mocking and celebrating, particularly in this context, because it's not even a situation where, well, he did this, but no one else did. No, there are millions of Americans that are laughing at Charlie Kirk's death and are pushing for more. And within that context, it makes this even more inexcusable. Within the context of fellow Americans that say, take out his children because they're going to grow up bigoted. And you worry about the trousers she's wearing? Are you that shallow?
Like it was some sort of fucking celebration. Why did she immediately come out and say, I'm going to take over Charlie's position at TPUSA? Don't you think that the overwhelming majority of people, especially if you're torn up psychologically and mentally, wouldn't you say, you know what, I'm going to step back from the spotlight. I'm going to have some time to mourn.
Did you lose your spouse Was your spouse assassinated because of politics? No. So you're in no position to say what you would have done. And also, I respect that. You know why I respect that? Because it looks to me like a woman who is putting her children and her ability to provide for those children. I'm not pretending that she's not rich. Of course she's rich. But she's still putting her family first and decided to take that position and not allow the monsters who took out her husband to win. Because that's what they want. They wanted to leave it. In fact, they want the entirety Turning Point USA to collapse because of it. And she's standing to fight. She's showing an example to her children that she's going to be strong. In fact, that's a strong woman if I've ever seen one. You should be proud of her. Hypocrite.
I'm going to have some time to reflect. I'm going to have some time to rethink my life. I'm going to have some time to get my shit together since I just lost my fucking better half. No, she immediately jumped in and said, I'm going to take Charlie's position at TPUSA. Why are there videos that are all over social media, and they are, you can't deny it, of her crying, but it's 100% proven there are no tears. She's got the tissue, she's doing the thing, but then you zoom in, there's no tears. Why is that happening?
Could you imagine this creep who actually sees a widow crying after her husband's neck was exploded, and this guy is there zooming in with the pixels, trying to see if there actually is... How do you know it wasn't edited out? How do you know it wasn't... Have you ever heard of a jump cut, by the way? Because I'm telling you, when my mom died of cancer, and I made a video to let my community know that, because my community supported us as with a battle through cancer, I refilmed that thing 7 times because I don't like the idea of crying in front of a camera. And the only time you'll ever see that, if it ever happens, I don't think it ever will, but if it does happen, it's because it happened live stream, and it is what it is. Once it's online, it's online. But when it comes to a video pre-recorded, I will never show it. And even the one take that was good, I had to jump cut it to remove those things, so you can see that, you know, my eyes are a little lucid, if you will, but I jump cut it. Maybe she jump cut, but still, why are we even arguing about this? Are you saying that she doesn't care that her husband died? It's disgusting. You can't prove that, and you should be ashamed of yourself for even suggesting that she doesn't care about her husband being killed. He still is the father of her children. What kind of monsters do you think people on the right wing are? Simply because we are conservatives, it doesn't mean we don't have feelings for the father of our freaking children. Shame on you.
You could yell at me for acknowledging reality, but I'm fucking acknowledging reality, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Why is she hopping in front of every camera? Why is it that she's putting herself front and center, but then getting mad when people react? See, this is my message to conservatives.
Go ahead.
You can't have it both ways.
Okay.
You can't make her deeply political. You can't put her front and center. You can't put her at the head of TPUSA. You can't put her in front of every fucking camera and microphone in existence and then get mad when we react to it.
You didn't just react. You should be allowed to react. I agree with him. He should be able to react and attack at arguments, attack at points, attack at politics, attack everything she stands for, if that's what you want. What we get mad is that you guys laugh at the death. You celebrate death. You endorse murder. You laugh at suffering. And then that's what you do not have a pass to that sort of behavior. You don't.
That's not how it works. Either you're in the game or you're not in the game. Either you're in the game or you're not in the game.
It doesn't make everything you say fair game. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you are not complaining about your side. You're not saying anything about the people that said take those kids off. Take them out. Is that fair game? Is that okay? Well, because it's political. I mean, Charlie Kirk put himself in front of the camera, was a political speaker and commentator for the right wing. So if people can say whatever they want about their children, people can laugh when his neck explodes. Is that okay? Is that how it works? Do you want your political opponent to dance on your grave if this happens to you? And I hope it doesn't. I don't like you one bit. In fact, I despise you, Kyle. But I wish you safety and success. I hope that what happened to Charlie Kirk never happens to you. And I hope that what happened to Charlie Kirk's wife never happens to your wife. And if this happens to you, I would not dance on your grave. And I would absolutely call out any conservative who would start saying, take his wife out now, take his children out, laughing and endorsing for this. Absolutely I would. But you don't. And that's the difference between me and the likes of you and your ilk. Anyways, correctly posts Blair White, who said, "No one is requiring you to mourn Charlie Kirk. They are asking you not to be a satanic piece of shit who celebrates brutal murder. The bar couldn't be lower, and it's still too high for millions of you. Sick." Based Blair White. And I know that every time I've, by the way, shared some of the statements made by Blair White, I always get those one or two people that tell me, "Oh, that's a tranny." Well, so what? The statement is based. Like, why do I care? It's an adult. Whatever Blair decides to do is Blair's business. I can perfectly say, though, that in this case, Blair White was absolutely based. This is extremely ugly behavior and you should feel ashamed of yourself. I agree, but he won't. He won't, because when someone is radicalized, when someone is a radical, they don't feel ashamed because they've already bypassed that completely. They've got their excuse, they've got their layers of justification that justify in their mind behavior that they themselves would consider to be abhorrent if it was, for example, targeted at people that they don't believe to be in the oppressor category. And now I'm talking about oppressed, which is clearly a critique at the left-wing perceptions of things, ideology. But then again, you can radicalize someone on any ideology. You can radicalize someone on the right wing. You can radicalize someone religiously. All forms of radicalization can happen. But the core mechanics at the psychological level, they are all the same. Radicals will justify behavior that would otherwise be considered by themselves unacceptable simply because of who the recipient is of said behavior and the layers of justifications that have been etched into their brains through propaganda. You will never be a woman. I don't know what this has anything to do with that. Joey says, Democrats are the only group on the planet that can gun down an innocent man, celebrate his death, mock his wife, destroy memorials for him, lie about who killed him, and also about what the man stood for, and somehow still make themselves the victims. He's absolutely right. And yeah, wow, you're a horrible human being. I agree. And it's statement, people like this, like him, and those who are worse than him, by the way, because there is worse than this. Like, there is worse than the mocking. But people like him, Destiny, Hassan Piker, and all of those liberals and progressives that made videos, that dressed up, that did this, that said, that did the little songs to celebrate Charlie Kirk's murder, they are the real enemies of themselves, because that sort of rhetoric only resonates with those who have already been radicalized to the extremes, but it does not resonate for those people who are left-leaning or even fully left-wing when it comes to economic policy, social issue, or foreign policy, but they are still decent. They haven't been radicalized. So they see this kind of behavior and they're like, hold on a minute, that's gross. What the heck? I mean, even back home in Italy, plenty of friends of mine and family members who are fully left, but they completely, when they saw this, they said, hey, I hated the kind of rhetoric that Charlie Kirk was pushing, with a caveat there, because I think some of it has been misinterpreted. But anyways, whatever version of Charlie Kirk's rhetoric that they have had access to, they have the right to say, I hate that, fine, it's against anything you believe in, class struggle, whether you be a socialist, whether you be a communist, whether you be well, in Europe, we don't call them liberals, because when you say liberal in Europe, you mean classical liberalism, which is center-right, whatever. A leftist. I know plenty of people in my family and among my friends that are left, but absolutely said that what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrible, and it shouldn't have happened. They don't celebrate it, and in fact, they attack the people and shame the people that make fun of and condone such behavior. And this kind of rhetoric backfires. Secular talk, it backfires. Even this, cry more. You lose the moral ground. You lose the moral ground when you make these kind of... And don't even say the word Nancy Pelosi. Don't even try. Don't even try that. I've already addressed it. I'm not going to waste any more time about that. Look at that. Yeah, you laugh all you want. We'll laugh last. Disgusted enough. So that's the guy. And that's the lack of decency on the radical left.